when you turn on the news, are they basically reporting everything accurately and honestly? No, this is proof in itself. This news reporter for a major news agency rubbing mud all over her face when she was just perfectly clean, and her being exposed because somebody just happened to catch it on camera while she was doing it. Otherwise, millions and millions and millions of Americans would have saw her little news report with mud on her face and she's such a good person. Oh. Nah, man, she's a liar. She doesn't care about anything but herself. She wasn't doing anything to help anybody out there. Hence the reason why she had to rub the mud on her face, because she wasn't actually exhibiting basically any physical, effort or whatever, you know what I'm saying, manual labor or whatsoever in order to better the chances of survival with the individuals within that emergency zone. She was doing nothing, standing around looking at her chances for a viral news report. That's all she's doing. You know what I mean? Mud all over her face. Come on, that's pathetic, dog. What, you Arnold Schwarzenegger running from the predator in the forest? No. You're a news reporter, and you're a swindler, bro. Just like all news reporters. You're a puppet. That's all they are. Liars and illusionary artists utilizing their puppets to spread their rhetoric. That's all it is, fool. You turn on the news, gun violence, gun violence. What about predators? What about the irrefutable statistics? The irrefutable statistics acquired by the government and released by the government itself, homie. Not somebody's opinion. You know what I mean? It's irrefutable. It's released from them. The facts are out there. Nobody cares enough to research things. But predators. Fool, predators are doing predatory acts, man. Look on Megan's Law. Every single neighborhood's filled with predators. The legalities or repercussions in regards to predation are more lenient in comparison with somebody being caught with an unloaded handgun. If a prohibited person is caught with an unloaded handgun, they look at a more severe minimum and maximum sentence in comparison with the person preying upon our youth. There's a reason for that. The judges and lawmakers are predators. That's why the laws regarding predation are so lenient. 2 + 2 = 4. The news never touches down on predation. Doesn't. Never, fool. Maybe one sporadic story, and it's usually politicized for political reasons, and that's it. You know what I mean? Every day, there are an uncountable amount of acts of children being harmed by some predator in our society, but they consider an inanimate object to be more important than the internal death or the external death of a child. And what I mean by that is even if a child isn't murdered by a predator, internally they die inside. You feel me? Every time an act of predation manifests. The news doesn't cover that, do they? The news won't tell you that more lives are saved via firearms than are lost via firearms every year. The news doesn't differentiate between a defensive shooting, where it was fully logical, rational, and justified, in comparison with a ruthless attack or a mass shooting. They don't. The statistics are all lumped up. What I mean is they'll tell you, look how many deaths have happened from firearms this year. It's a firearm epidemic. And it's like, oh, all those deaths from firearms, well, half of those people were probably creepy, evil, sinister, unpredictable predators who were shot during a self-defense encounter. Attacking somebody randomly, trying to murder them, kill them, or prey upon them, and somebody luckily was able to defend themselves, and, but they're a death from firearms, and it's an epidemic. Well, they died, and it was from a firearm, right? That's crazy. You're not differentiating between offensive and defensive purposes or shootings? You're not making people aware of how many lives or life-threatening encounters are prevented via a firearm every year. Look it up. The statistics are there. Even the anti-gun agencies can't dispute those statistics. They just try to say they don't matter. They don't matter because people are still dying. The death penalty is bad. It doesn't matter. If it's John Wayne Gacy or Jeffrey Dahmer, it's bad to kill someone. That's the kind of mentality that the news represents. That's the leftist extremist ideology. The right wing's more demonizing immigrants for wanting a better life coming across the border, and they're all filled with the virus and all bringing drugs, where 90% of them come here and work their asses off. They're not running around in a cocky entitled fashion or anything. They're literally just working their asses off. They're just like, ¿por qué? It's crazy. So whether it's the right or the left, you're going to see a bunch of chaos and illusions and basically just intentional lies and rhetoric, homie. It is what it is. Brainwashing schemes, for either candidate or either base or either politician, whatever it may be. They're all extremists. And they're really puppets. They're not the higher-ups, man. The real shot callers behind closed doors like Rothschild, Halliburton, so on and so forth. Look it up. Look it up. Halliburton profits from war. That's a company that, you know what they do? Check this out. They're a legitimate corporation, right? Corporate enterprise. They start wars between nations, and then they sell guns to both sides. That's Halliburton. See what I'm saying? The news don't report on that, do they? It's a reason for that. Because no matter whether it's a leftist or a right-wing news platform, media source, it's all illusions and lies. They're custom fabricating what they choose to report in order to perpetuate their agenda and to increase their ratings and money and news. That's all it is. Money, numbers, and power. Wealth and power. Major positions of control. That's all it is, bruh. Come on, man. The elitists manipulate the news site. The news, they care about money and ratings. You know what I mean? That capitalist rat race, you feel me? The more blood diamonds and the more Louis Vuitton and the more thoughts and the more, you know what I mean? They're all doing it for not just rappers and hood, everybody. Snorting coke, buying prostitutes, blood Rolex covered in diamonds. Yeah, that fool, come on, man. Everyone's just deflecting. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's doing the same thing, just with a different disguise or a different deflection tactic. You know what I mean? It's crazy, fool. But the higher-ups, the elitists in major positions of wealth and power behind closed doors, that truly, basically control society through their intentional design, homie. It is what it is. It's designed in order for them to maintain their positions, which means we, the masses, have to be divided, and we have to adhere to one extreme or the other. It's part of the design. If we're all evolving alongside each other and we have an accurate perception of life, the elitists are not going to maintain their agenda. They don't maintain the same level of control and revenue, you feel me? And that's all they live for. They don't care about future generations, the environment, sustainability. They don't care, homie. They get their rocks out of destroying the planet and ensuring that they're the last generation that has the ability to live any quality of life worth living before things inevitably deteriorate due to their unsustainable way of life, homie. Like, they get their rocks off on that shit, but they're evil, homie. They want bad things to happen. That's the major elitists in power and politicians and even many celebrities, and that's just how they are, homie. Once you're rewarded for bad behavior or you're placated, glorified, and pacified and rewarded based upon a lack of purpose, you just are a famous overgrown toddler with blood diamonds, right? You know, come on, man. You're going to develop an entitled mindset, and the possibility of acquiring an accurate perception of life and a point to your existence become further and further away. You know, that's what happens, homie. You know, if you reward a rebellious toddler for their bratty, horrible, spoiled, rotten behavior, what happens? You end up with a monster on your hands. You know, in the initial stages of growth, accountability is essential, and most of our populace just don't have it. You know what I mean? If you ain't a G from the hood, bro, you are not going to consistently be held accountable in our society. It is what it is, dog. There's no mental cartwheels, homie, that can be performed to alter that reality. It is what it is.